Communication enables people to understand each other's perspectives. Communication can be defined as the flow of material information, understanding, as well as the imagination among the various people. Communication is a two-way process where it involves a sender as well as a receiver. So effective communication plays a major role for creating understanding as well as to show empathy. Hello everyone, I am Nikhilavati S, Faculty of Commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. I welcome you all for the first session on the subject Business Communication. So we'll start with the first chapter, that is Basics of Communication. So a topic that is very fundamental aspect of our life but often take it for granted is communication. So imagine for a moment a world without communication, or where you cannot share your thoughts or feelings, or you can't converse with somebody, build relationships, or even understand each other. It's difficult to imagine, right? It's almost impossible to envision a world without communication, as communication is the lifeblood of human interactions. So, communication is everywhere, from a casual talk with a friend over a coffee to till the complex negotiations between the business leaders or the world leaders. It's the smile that you give to a stranger, or email that you send to a colleague, or a discussion that you have with your friend, etc. What makes communication so fascinating is that it is as simple as that even toddlers can do that, and as complex, even many scholars have dedicated their entire life studying the factors or the process of communications. It involves language, symbols, and cultural nuances and technological advancements. Communication can build bridges or even create barriers. It can create understanding as well as breed confusion. So in this course, we will be studying about what this communication is all about, what are the processes that are involved in the communication, and what difference they make in the exchange of information. So we will explore communication in all its form, whether it is interaction or a group discussion or a personal message. We will also delve into the practical aspects of communication, like for example active listening, a motivational speech, or how the digital communication is impacting the modern world. So, as we all know, communication is a fundamental aspect of human life. It's how we express our thoughts, feelings, or share information, convey our emotions, and also connect with one another. So without communication, there would not be any relationships. So the relationships formation is possible only with a conversation or only with the communication. Societies wouldn't function without any kind of communication, and knowledge wouldn't be shared. In essence, the communication is the cornerstone of human interaction as well as social organization. At its core, communication is the process of exchange of information, ideas, or sharing of knowledge from one to another or from one group to another. Every communication involves a sender, a message, and a recipient. So let us see what is communication is all about. Coming to the meaning of communication, the word communication comes from the Latin word communicare, which means to share or to make common. So, communication implies that communication is all about creating a shared understanding between people. So, bringing common understanding between people, that is possible only through expression of the knowledge or the expression of your information or sharing of ideas. So, coming to the word business, the word business stands for any economic activity which is undertaken with a view to earn profit, and the communication undertaken in the process of this activity is termed as business communication. So as we all know, business is all about the economic activities that are conducted on a continuous basis with a view to earn profit. So whatever the communication that happens in these economic activities or with these business organizations can be referred as business communication. Communication can be defined as the flow of material information, understanding, as well as the imagination among the various people. Business includes those organizations which are engaged in the production of goods and services. So, business communication is all kinds of communications that happen within that business organization as well as with other external parties connected with the businesses. So, moving on to the definitions on communication. Communication is a process of exchanging of information from one person or a group to another. It involves various means to share information or knowledge, for example, either by speaking or it might be written communication or through non-verbal cues. Communication is a two-way process where it involves a sender as well as a receiver, and the message that the sender transmits or transfers to the receiver. For example, a teacher explaining a lesson. So here the sender is the teacher, and he or she, when explains the lesson to the or a complex topics to the students, she also understands that whether the students have understood or not. Maybe by their facial expressions or by their gestures like nodding their heads may indicate that the students have understood the concept. So let us look into the definitions given by various authors. That is, according to Keith Davis, communication is a process of passing information and understanding from one person to another. So it's not about just passing the information but also creating a common understanding from the person who communicates to the receiver. So here the intended message with the sender's intention must also match the way that the receiver has received that particular message. So next we have, according to Wilbur Scrum, communication is something people do. So communication, he says that the communication happens between people, and to understand human communication process, one must understand how people relate to each other. So he stresses on the fact that always the communication happens based on the relationship of the sender and the receiver. So a student speaking to his parents is different, or a student speaking to his teachers is different. So always the communication process that changes or happens based on the relationships that the people are. So according to Claude Shannon and Warren Weaver, communication is the process of transmitting information. So it involves transferring of some kind of information and bringing common understanding from one person to another. So as we discussed earlier, like communication is not just about transmitting some information but also creating a common understanding between both the sender and the receiver. So the message with which intention that the sender has sent to the receiver, in the same intention the receiver has to understand. So the communication is all about sharing of information from one person to another, and not just sharing of information but also to create a common understanding. So let us see why communication is important, why it is essential, or why, on what purpose the communication happens. So the communication is crucial for various reasons. So one of such common reasons can be classified into basically the 4 types. That is, the communication is important for building and maintaining relationships. So communication helps in forming as well as maintaining both personal and professional relationships. A good or effective communication helps to form as well as sustain a relationship, whether it might be a personal relationship or a professional relationship. It fosters trust, openness and connection. So always a clear and honest communication helps the individuals to share their emotions or needs and wants. Proper communication leads to deeper understanding and to create bonding between the individuals. So next we have is the communication helps for sharing information and ideas. Communication allows the individuals to exchange the information and ideas which are important for learning and to gain knowledge. So the communication here serves as a means for exchanging knowledge or sharing of information which is essential to take informed judgments or decisions. So it might be through verbal communication or non-verbal communication. It might be through discussions or meetings or even written communications. So the communication is also important for decision making and problem solving. So communication plays a vital role in making decisions as well as finding solutions to various problems. It might be again in personal life or whether it is in professional settings. An effective communication allows for collaboration and as well as to have discussions and uncover the issues and also find solutions. For example, you are stuck with a problem and you are not finding or able to find any of the solutions. Then you may go to your parents or friend, discuss that particular issue and get the solutions, or after having discussions you may feel that there are many alternative solutions to your problem. So just like that, it is possible only through conversation or by communicating it to somebody. And if we take the example of a business organization, there also the manager, he can solve many problems of the employees or the decisions that are taken in the organization only through effective communication. So at last we have is understanding and empathy. So effective communication plays a major role for creating understanding as well as to show empathy. So here the communication goes beyond the words or just expression or exchanging of words. It helps you to listen properly to somebody or to suggest somebody or to show empathy that creates that among the individuals that they are valued and understood. Communication enables people to understand each other's perspectives and also respect each one of different views and understand. And also the communication helps to bring harmony. So communication plays a vital role whether it's in your day-to-day life or to take a decision about the business organization or the business operations. For example, when you share your thoughts with a friend, you are engaged in communication. Or when you write an email to your colleague, sharing your work-related issues. Or when you are speaking with your manager. So just like that, communication involves all kinds of conversations. And also non-verbal cues like your body language or your posture or your facial expressions also convey messages without words. So it is impossible to live in a world without communication. So this was all regarding what communication is all about. We have seen the various definitions and why communication is important. So hope you have all have understood. Thank you.